Hey everybody, it's your girl again, Sapphire-J. Thank you for tuning into the second episode of the Rejection series. Now, for those who have not seen the first webisode, I want to challenge you to go back. We spoke about how being valuable is not just a knowing or something that you see, but most times we don't feel it, and we cannot depend on our feelings to know our worth. So I'm not gonna go too much in depth because you gotta go watch that for yourself. But this episode I would entitle as Rejection The Infection. So first of all, what is rejection? Because we don't like to talk about this. There are so many topics that are considered as taboos. So what exactly is rejection? Rejection is actually the refusal or refusing to accept. Now the question is, have you ever refused to accept something or somebody? Or have you been on the opposite side where somebody refused to accept you for who you are? I know many times when people are rejected, they tend to act as the opposite of their character because they want to fit in. That's literally an infectious disease. We make it seem like it's normal, it's okay, but it's not normal, because if you're out there imitating somebody else, who's going to be you? Your shoes have to be firstly filled. Now, infection is anything that is considered to be a contamination. So think about it, an infectious disease. How do we now go beyond this? We know what rejection is. How do we go beyond this now to say, how can I overcome, or how can I detect if somebody is struggling with it? I'll give you a few pointers, and these pointers will later be discussed, possibly in a more in-depth way. So firstly, offended. A lot of people who have been offended, they don't like to say, but the number one way to detect if someone has been offended by you or by something, check their response. They're very defensive. The next thing would be fear. And I think offense is literally connected to fear. Fear of what people may think about you, fear of what people may say, even a fear to love, fear to trust people all over again. Like, fear is one of the major roots that causes us to act out in ways that are the total opposite of our character. Let's go into those who like to spend money. Did you know that you being a spendaholic, spending money on food, on clothes, like, you have no grounds to say, learn how to budget. That actually can be tied to rejection, because that's your way of outlet. Some people have an outlet to spend. Some have an outlet to watch pornography, masturbation. Some have an outlet, like myself, for 20 plus years, depression. Always isolated because we don't want anybody in our space. We don't want anybody near. And many times we feel that the way that we express ourselves or express our hurt and fall back, that's normal. But reality is that is not healthy. We've been forced to believe that it's healthy, but it's not. So I want to challenge you literally to stick out with me through this series, and let's discover what is it that kept you in bondage all these years. What is it that literally shifted your way of thinking? Because as a man thinketh, so is he. And most times we have been programmed in a negative form with that demon on our shoulder saying, oh, you will never be great. You will be just like your pa. You will be just like your no good mother. All of these things are connected to rejection, and it forces us to respond in such a way that is detrimental to our health and to our spirit and to our soul. So think about it. Even a robber, they don't wake up saying, I'm going to be a robber. You have to dig deep and see exactly what is it that they may have struggled with from childhood. What is it that has been released in the air negatively over their lives for them to walk out what was spoken over them. So this is going to be very interesting, but it's something that needs to be discussed. It is something that needs to be heard so that we can actually heal a generation one person at a time. So I look forward to you, and tell a friend, tune in to the Sapphire-J TV. We're discussing rejection. It's an infection.